look at what's for dinner. Well, happy new week. We got some more of this stuff. Sourdough is Fred. Yeah, sourdough's Fred or fed. Adventures await. And while folks are doing school, I am getting first meal of the day going. We're going to do some hard-boiled eggs with little pats of butter on them. Also going to chop up some strawberries, and there you go, breakfast. Also, we got some vanilla yogurt going down before Mama gets the rest of breakfast served. Now I'm going to make some individualized breakfast plates, and with our eggs that are left, I still need to crack some more, but hopefully about half of these, I think I did 2 dozen, I will make some egg salad for lunch today. Alrighty, so these are the hard-boiled eggs that are left. Look at that reflection in the bowl. It's like layers and layers of eggs. Anyway, I'm going to turn this into egg salad now for lunch today. And so, just some quick and easy mama meal prep. I have some strawberries that I already chopped up and some blueberries and blackberries. So I was just mixing those up in a bowl. And I am just doing really quick and easy egg salad. There are times that I have one of my teenagers throw this together. But I'm just slicing through the eggs and making this super simple. Okay, we got our egg salad prepped for lunch. Hey, look, I meal prepped. It's 10:59 a.m. now. We will probably have a sit-down lunch together about noon. Most folks are done with their schoolwork this morning, and I have some forts being built, some other projects going on, some reading happening in other parts of the house, so that is good. So in about an hour, we will come back in, sit down, have some lunch together, and we're going to start listening through the Narnia series again. And I've just been, hey look, reusing plastic wrap from the sourdough. Just gonna even leave these spoons in here. Stole some plastic wrap, and then we will get this out for lunch. I'm also working through getting sourdough cooked through this morning. Okay, so things I can report. A good bit of school is done. A good bit of sourdough is being cooked. Lunch is prepped. Hey Jamerrill, why do you always wear a head wrap or a hat? Well, because of this lusciousness, friends. Haha. This is why I usually have stuff on my head, because I need to brush my hair. So anyway, let's go get ready for the day and keep on trucking. 12:30, ready for the day, haha. But I'm gonna do our egg salad and fruit lunch. I've got my egg salad on the egg white wraps. I have someone else who wanted it on Ezekiel bread. Some others that just wanted it on toast. Yes, I have sourdough going in the oven, but that's got to cool before we can slice it. And it just, the timing didn't work out quite right on that. And that is okay. So toasted egg salads, here we come. So I'm just making an assembly line here, and I'm going to put the toasted egg salad sandwiches that are sliced onto this pretty Pioneer Woman platter, because a pretty platter just makes any lunch a party, right? And then I'll set out some paper plates that they can make their own egg salad and fruit plates with. So here we go. This is a look at our lunch. I totally failed at gluten-free for myself, but that's okay. I mean, I'm sure I'm super duper contaminated there, but I'm gonna eat, and that's always great. I have some other gluten-free folks who have done something else for lunch, and then for the majority of the crew, this is our lunch platter, and now we're gonna get going on our Narnia series. Thank you to sendacake.com for sponsoring today's video. I cannot wait to show you this whole box of joy. It's a super creative option. Valentine's Day, birthdays, Mother's Day, you name it. Take a look at this super fun, unique gift. Wait till you see this, okay? It's gonna be so fun. So, we open it up. Okay, this is called the Rose Box. They have different themed boxes. This is wild what's gonna happen. You ready? Your person will receive their box. And this is beautiful. We got the whole stained glass thing going on, which you know I'm very partial to. Okay, at the top, it says this side up to open, push both sides. Okay, get ready. Yes, not only are we getting a room full of bubbles, there's music too. And okay, let's not forget the whole beautiful bottle that says love you. That's full of delicious donuts. Head to sendacake.com and click the first link in the description below to receive a 10% off discount when you use my special code Jamerrill. Send a Cake is a thoughtful and hassle-free gifting solution. Send a Cake is more than an online cake delivery service. It's about making memories, creating unique gifting experiences that your friends and family won't forget, and being part of spreading joy, love, and the ability to simply brighten up someone's day. Open the bottom, and it is full of delicious mini donuts. So again, don't forget to go to sendacake.com, use my special promo code Jamerrill, and you can get 10% off of your fun and festive Send a Cake bubble box. This was the rose bubble box. When you use code Jamerrill, you get 10% off, and there's additional options over there. Thank you so much to sendacake.com for sponsoring today's video. Alrighty, so we're doing something. I'm going to get a bunch of carcasses cooking for some chicken broth that I hope to can this week. I'm going to move some things around for a minute. And the roaster oven is going. Chicken carcasses. Let's see, that is back down. That is a random carcass. Another one. Some more, and we brought up 2 bags of chicken feet. So I'm just dumping what I can in these roasters, and we are going to get them covered with water. And I'm going to get everything cooking down. I have some carcasses that we threw in the freezer, plus some of those bags of chicken feet from the farm, and we are going to make a delicious broth. Okay, but if you give a mouse a cookie, if a mom starts making chicken broth, we need to get the sink clear. This is my bowl soaking from a big batch of English muffins I did today. Going to take more scrubbing power than I think I have in my soul right now. So, I don't know if I can lift it though. Can I? Alright. So, nice thing. Sorry. It's 5 o'clock here now. Tired. Been doing all the things all day. I guess I'm going to go ahead and get pan's heating up too. I always think about, well, what can I get done, you know? Surely I can get something done. I'm going to do the sourdough discard pizza crust, basically. And these pans are supposed to be super hot first. So, get those going. Look, a little win off my list. I'm just going to aim this over here, and I'm gonna let someone who has more muscles than their mom scrub that for me tonight. These things are all clean. Glory. That's not. I did not think of this when I designed this kitchen, but what is super nice, and I have yet to forget about it and let it overflow, is I can just fill these. So we will let that work on filling. So I've got probably 4 chicken carcasses and a bag of chicken feet in there. And I'm going to let these cook. And I'm going to cook those through until tomorrow. And let's see, then we will pull these. I'm trying to think which way. I will have, again, I mean, this is why I have 7 sons. I will have a tall son take these, put them in the refrigerator, and we'll let them cool, and then I'll skim the fat off that way. We'll can it the following day. So it'll be a couple day process, but hopefully we get some broth out of it. I also have my 30-quart stock pot, and I'm thinking I don't want to babysit that overnight tonight. I'm thinking I could tomorrow get that stock pot going, just let it go for the day. So, okay, let that continue. So here we go, we're finally doing it, and fingers crossed I don't have any life-exploding events while I make chicken broth, because historically, although we've made it successfully a few times between events, so that's what keeps me going. Pretty little chicken feet there. So hopefully all goes well. Alrighty, so pretty good on not overflowing. Excellent, excellent. Get this one going now. My lids are there. Both probably fit the same, but let's see here. That one. Very good. Alrighty, so filled it, did not overflow it. Very proud of us. We got some late afternoon documentaries going down right now after quite a lot of snow fort building. So that is good. We'll just have dueling roaster ovens now. Okay. Wait, realize my neck is red. I've been in front of this stove, but look at what's for dinner. Woo woo. Yum. Homemade discard sourdough pizzas. Alrighty, so for breakfast this morning, I had one of my folks make about 2 dozen scrambled eggs, so I'm getting ready to serve that up. And I think, well, we got an RC car running too. I think this might be, I don't know if they were 2-pound containers of strawberries. This is either 2 to 4 pounds of strawberries, but watch it disappear fast, quick, and in a hurry. Yay. There's one plate being served up during math. Okay, breakfast delivery. Now we have some eggs with no fruit going out. Breakfast delivery. Okay, another breakfast delivery. We will prep the rest of these strawberries to go with lunch, but I'm just doing a quick slice and dice here to go with breakfast. And we got another breakfast plate going down with a side pack of blueberries. Well, because a day can't go by without the Walmart delivery coming by the house, here's what I had sent over this morning. So we were out of ketchup. We actually have 6 of these, but one of them is in use already. Got some more monk fruit sweetener. Now tonight I'm gonna do some shrimp pasta, and I needed some Parmesan cheese for that. The recipe that I'm using calls for spinach. I'm going to replace that with broccoli. We also got some heavy cream for that same recipe. We're out of milk. Let's get our milk delivery. It's kind of like the milk truck, huh? So we got the 6 gallons of whole milk, 4 gallons of chocolate milk to make it through. We have lost our hand soap dispenser in one of our bathrooms, and yeah, I just, for $1.24, when hand soap dispensers start breaking, I just get these and then refill them. Maybe I'll get a year out of these, you know, things happen. Also, the snow continues, so we have some emergency popsicle stick for afternoon popsicle stick creations. Also got some noodles for tonight's pasta, and 'tis the season, continuing with the sourdough factory. Happy, joyful noises in the background, but I needed some more flour, and we're gonna get going on the sourdough for today. So now I am just getting the little bit of scrambled egg leftovers into a container, and someone will eat that for something, no worries. I do have several cooking projects today. I'm gonna also go ahead and get this stock pot going with some chicken broth as well. I have my other 2 roasters going because, like you know, I need a lot of chicken broth, and if I'm getting the canner going tomorrow, we need to be able to can a good amount of chicken broth. So I have 2 chicken carcasses from chicken I made the other night. I need to actually pick that chicken down and probably do some chicken salad. So I need to pick down those 2 chicken carcasses that I have in the refrigerator from chicken we roasted the other night, make some chicken salad with that, which will be another lunch option. Also for lunch today, we have about 1.5 of the 4 sourdough pizzas I made last night for dinner. So lunch will basically be pizza, strawberries, but chicken salad will start rotating through as an option. That might be what I have, and there is probably enough for egg salad for someone as well. And let's get, well, so many projects. We also need to cut strawberries. A little morning kitchen organization. I am trying to think how I can multitask. I could at least have water going in this pot. And so now I'm just gonna chop the heads off of some strawberries and prep a little further. Strawberry prices have been nice to us lately, so we have definitely been getting some extra pounds of strawberries with our orders. Okay, hey look, we meal prepped. So now I'm just getting my sourdough starter fed because I always like to be hopeful and plan for future sourdough adventures. So I'm feeding it there, and I'm going to use my Danish whisk and mix it all up. I know several of you have suggested different flours and other fun sourdough adventures I could have, such as weighing my ingredients to do proper baking. I hear you. I don't know. I don't think, like, I'm asking my brain, are we going to weigh our ingredients in 2025? And my depths of my soul is responding, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm sure it's one of those things that once I do it, it's like, yeah, that would have been easy 10 years ago, right? Like, why didn't I always do that? But 2025 is just about decent forward movement, and I know so many of you are understanding and compassionate with all of that. I want to fairly consistently continue to get the freezers full of freezer meals because I need them. If 2024 showed me anything, it's that my longtime freezer meal filling strategy that I have used for decades now is that I've proven this in my life in years past. When I have a baby, when there is sickness, when there's big work projects, when there's the unexpected, having freezer meals to fall back on is so helpful. So even the simplest things I can get in the freezer will help me in 2025. And then when I do see parts in my calendar, when I see bright spots, when I have the energy, and when I'm able to, I want to continue to work through canning projects, and then just easy peasy sourdough. Easy peasy sourdough for sure. And here I am taking the chicken that was left that I picked down off of those carcasses, and I am making us, hey look, we meal prepped yet again, making some homemade chicken salad to go for lunch options coming up. Egg salad, chicken salad, tuna salad. Those are so helpful in my household. I love to rotate through basically all 3 if we can in a week, but at least one of them. This week we're doing 2. We had chicken salad, we had egg salad. I'm also chopping down some celery to go in there. Now I have some family members who like this crunchy and those who do not, but I'm going for it. I'm like, mama's shoving some celery in here. So I'm also using some of that Primal Kitchen mayo. And I'm going ahead and prepping some more celery sticks for myself because I've been using those while I prep and get my other meals ready. I've been having some celery sticks and mashed avocado per some healthy inflammation reducing hacks and reversing insulin resistance and all of those tricks that I've been learning from Coach Mama Fox. And then through her teaching, she has introduced me to Dr. Benjamin Binkman and the Glucose Goddess, and I've stumbled into Dr. Mindy Peltz and so many helpful thinkers out there, and so much good research, so much to learn. So there's the answer for why I'm eating celery sticks before meals, getting in more vegetables as I can. So this looks lovely. I'm going to cover it and get it in the refrigerator, and I'm going to fill my face with it here in a few hours. And now it's just time to go through and clean up from some of my morning kitchen projects. We've been getting some good 2025 morning routines going in the household. New year, fresh routines, revamped my chore charts, and so many things. And it just helps the household flow pretty smooth these days. All right, so Mama's taken a sourdough break. I was showing you one thing. Now we're running over here. So I've got dough prep to do 3 dozen cinnamon rolls, and we also have dough here for 2 triple batches of bagels, so we'll be getting back to those after lunch break. We just put our leftover sourdough pizza last night in here so they can heat that up through the microwave, and then we have the strawberries we prepped this morning. So hey, look, we meal prepped lunchtime. And then we're also listening through The Magician's Nephew. We're gonna go through the whole Narnia series again, although like how I shared with you, I've graduated from being a read aloud mom to where now I can be an audiobook mom. Nice, that's my advancement after over 20 years of homeschooling. How much different technology things can we have help us? And then probably some Zelda Uno with my feet up. I'm gonna take about an hour or so off of cooking to have this family time and get back to work. And then I also just pulled out this chicken salad that we prepped this morning. So I'm gonna probably have what's left of my cucumbers that I also, hey look, I meal prepped. These, I cut them last night. Nice plops of chicken salad going in. Probably do 3 scoops. And then, to not dirty yet another dish, but we will do that after our late lunch here. All right, so mom lunch too. Well, we have had the sourdough factory going all day today. I've got one more thing of bagels in here, and actually I do have a timer going for that. Good job. So I'm gonna pull the bones out of this broth and turn this off, and I'm gonna go to this big 30-quart pot and both the roaster ovens and just pull the bones and things out of there. And then we might be able to condense it a little bit and just get 2 roaster ovens in the refrigerators overnight tonight. And I was super hopeful that this chicken broth would work out well, and it does. It's actually from the future, I can tell you. It is so delicious, and I've been drinking it. So we're definitely using this broth in the future already. Now I do have a couple more chicken carcasses in my freezer. I think I have about 4 or 5 more chickens to cook through for my farm fresh freezer meals for my family, and we will do those on some root vegetables coming up as needed. Those have been super helpful for me and have really helped me so much. I think in September I started buying those chicken bundles, and I've bought 2 of them. And it's just been a great way once or twice a week to cook some chickens on some root vegetables in my big goose pot. And hey, look, I meal prepped. So I'm saving those carcasses. Again, 5 more to cook through. And then we will continue to make more broth in our broth factory. And I didn't use any vegetable scraps in this broth. Definitely something I could throw in the freezer in the future. I have kept my vegetable scraps many times in the past, but just don't have any currently, and that's okay because this broth really does turn out delicious. Alrighty, so I'm trying to remember all the ways I've strained broth before. I feel like this needs to be strained before it goes in the refrigerator overnight as well. So let's not get the broth in the 4 dozen cinnamon rolls though. We're just gonna use the Mega Mom bowl, and I will probably just limp it along with my measuring cup or something of the sort. I feel like my measuring cups are missing. I had several. Just use a bowl. Will it fit in? Yes, okay, good, systems. Whew, hot. Not great. I think what is in that 30-quart stock pot will help fill these roaster ovens back up, which means we should still be canning close to 40 quarts. Okay, tools, things. Okay, nice. Really no reason to do that other than I just wanted to. Okay, get this up now. Woo, loud noises, makes me jump. Okay, well that was actually pretty good. Now we'll make it rain. We did strain a good bit. Okay. Now, take it over to my stock pot full of chicken feet. Okay, I'm going to leave this on the counter to cool for a bit until bedtime, then we'll get it in the refrigerator, but I'm going to put the broth back in the roaster, and I cannot pick up the almost full 30-quart bowl full of it. Ooh. Okay, I will make noises. Sound effects incoming. We had a good day around here. School, check. Homemade cinnamon rolls, check. Boat documentaries, check. It's like 6 degrees outside, so no outside fort building today. Virginia is in a couple days of a big cold snap. So there was definitely some indoor forts and Legos going on. They're my younger ones. Big ones do big kid things, but anyway, okay, that's pretty good. Whew, so, well, I guess I'm just gonna carry my tools around this island. This one had a lot more little pieces of bone in it. To my chicken feet pot. over to our stove station. Okay. Making room. Okay, good job. Tomorrow at some point, or it may not be until the following day, we will pull the fat off the top and then get canning. Got to readjust my week. I've spent the past 2 days doing big cooking projects all day. Tomorrow I feel like I need to take it easy on myself, which looks like I will need to sit and get work done. Or some mom life stuff. But probably no heavy cooking projects for a day. I've also been giving myself a break because I just got done being sick. Before that, my whole household was sick. And now that we have these 6-degree days, I have just told myself, you know what? I don't need to rush to the gym or walk in the 6 degrees for hours and any of that. I work hard. Like, I move my body around all the time. I get my 15,000 to 20,000 steps every day, and I've been doing it. We are just now, have started our new year over, and I'm getting back to work and all the things. Friday is supposed to be sensible in the 30s and 40s, and I thought, you know what? I'll get back to heavy movement on Friday. Okay. Fingers can do that. Over a few little bones in there. And I will save the chicken fat that we pull off the top. I will save that and also use that as a good cooking fat. So now I'm going to shuffle some big batch broth around. Let's see how this goes. Okay, that went pretty okay. One thing, my cats are gonna love my kitchen floors tonight. Okay. I will probably put what is left in here. Alrighty, so here, take your knife and get that side too, hun. We have another pan of cinnamon rolls from last night, getting plopped out for breakfast. Also, snow days, freezing cold. I think it was felt like -1 yesterday. We have some flag popsicle stick projects going down. Alrighty, so you can see where on our big mega broth, I just was making sure I could skim the fat off. Looks like I can. So I'm not ready for the day yet, but we're gonna get this broth canning project kicked off, and hey, maybe clean the bottom of the fridge too while we're at it. So we have this big roaster, I've got a bowl, I have some more here, and then there's another roaster back yonder, which is why we like this big fridge. So we're gonna get these out, skim the broth off, work on getting it reheated. Then we brought up the Mega Mama 45 quart canner. Yes, we did. We're gonna get her up and running again today. I've been hopping around helping with math and things too, but I need to get this fat skimmed off of the top of these before it all goes back together. And then we are going to get the broth heated through again. I'm going to get ready for the day at some point, and then we're going to run this canner throughout the day as well. Okay, actually, I don't think I can easily skim this fat off yet, which is a real pain. It should be like a hard block. So I make a good go of it. I'm testing the different fat layers, and really for safe canning, according to the National Center for Food Preservation, you want to skim the fat off so you have a good seal on your jar. I am able to skim the fat off on the smaller bowl. So I think just because I'm dealing with such large volumes, and it's probably not as cold, I guess, at the bottom of my refrigerator, but we're still moving forward and doing things. Okay, well, we tried. So I put everything, I had help. We got everything back to the bottom of the refrigerator. It just might take a few more hours, maybe even a whole day, for that fat to finish rising to the top how it should. Probably with the temperature of the refrigerator and the size of the broth, you know, it's 50 quarts of broth, it just may put me another, because I got something else happening tomorrow. Today's Wednesday in my little timeline here, so it might be until Friday before I can get that broth canned, but we'll get it done. Lunchtime around here. I've been sitting and getting some work done this morning, but I'm gonna have celery, some avocado, another big plop of that chicken salad, and some strawberries. And I gotta get some files uploading, and then we're gonna listen to our audiobook together. Hi. Made a skillet dinner tonight. Actually wasn't 100% solely made in a skillet. Boiled noodles, steamed the broccoli in the microwave, cooked the shrimp, the garlic, all the good things in this 17-inch pan. This is dinner. I did a whole video of this recipe for my Large Family Table membership community folks, but it's a Parmesan shrimp skillet. I almost said chicken. I did it with gluten-free noodles, and then I made myself a variation with my fake myself out. It's the palmini noodles, not as big as these, but anyway, this is dinner, and this will be delicious. So here's how the fancy table's looking out. There's my mama plate. I've got a pile of forks here. We need to get some more. I guess I need to order more forks because the dishwasher's running and we're low. Some bananas that still need to find a purpose. We're setting cups out now, and then again, some fruit. All right, good evening. I had a big project I actually went out of state for yesterday. We have talking hand and popcorn machine. And so today we have been resting, but this evening we are going to play some card games and do some homemade popcorn. Okay, we've got dueling popcorn types happening here. I've got it in the stove, on the stove with some oil. And then this is about the third round coming out of our little popcorn machine. Alrighty friends, well, happy Saturday. So the last 2 days, Thursday I dedicated the day to helping some friends with a big project. Yesterday I was super tired, so today we're pulling all the things together, and I got line dancing tonight, yeehaw. So these roasters with this chicken broth have been in the fridge a good 2.5 days now. The fat is nice and fatty on the top. We're gonna pull that off. This bowl that we strained the other day is, I mean, it's got a little bit more fat on the top. We'll go ahead and take care of that. We're gonna get things heated through. I'm going outside. You know, we gotta do our to-do list for today. I'm getting outside and moving for at least a good hour, probably with my coffee in my bathrobe. I've got a video I have to do voiceover for, so I'm gonna watch through that while I walk. Kids will be doing forts. And again, it's Saturday here, so they're doing kid stuff in the house once we come inside, and you and me, we're canning all this broth. Somehow, I'm gonna get a shower, pull it together, and Mama's line dancing tonight, yeehaw. Okay, friends, this is how it should be. Just look at all of that fat just scooping off. This is one of those like oddly satisfying videos. And then we have all of that jiggly broth underneath. So many good things happening in this roaster oven. So I'm going to use the chicken fat. I will use it with other cooking projects. I'll just use it as a cooking fat probably pretty much. I may end up putting it in my freezer and then labeling it, because I do have some bacon grease that I am using now, and I believe chicken fat in the refrigerator, what I was reading, it needs to be used within a week or so. So I probably won't get to this much chicken fat that quickly, but I can throw it, label it, throw it in the freezer, and we will definitely use it coming up in our future at some point in 2025. So it's another good thing to hold on to and use. I could use it, you know, sauteing vegetables, or even add it back to soups and such that I would like. So it'll definitely get used. And again, I'm just so happy it rose to the top, and 2.5 days in the refrigerator, that did the trick here. So what I think I'm gonna have to do here, friends, is some stove Tetris. That means it has begun. And I got my shower done. I mean, where's my reward and award, haha. So we get to do some canning this Saturday with a towel on my head. I'm excited because every mom needs a hot shower. So anyway, back in the kitchen now, and I am getting some stock pots going. I'm gonna heat that water up and go ahead and set my first batches of canning jars in this 30-quart stock pot. And I also have the chicken broth in my 16-quart goose pot there, heated through again. Also the 22 quarts times 2, so about 40 to 40-ish, 44-ish quarts of chicken broth in my roaster ovens is now heated through. I got 2-quart jars full of good chicken fat in my refrigerator. We'll deal with that later, but now focusing on getting all of this canning done. And I've warmed my jars a lot of different ways through these last couple years when I have been able to get canning done. I have put them on baking sheets and warmed them low and slow in my oven. I've kept them warm in my dishwasher. I have filled one of my deep sinks with hot water, usually getting hot water on the stove and then dumping it in just to go along with the heat that can come through my spigot for a little bit. I've done it different ways. I've also filled stock pots and kept my jars warm there. And at times when I haven't used my roaster ovens, I've kept some water in my roaster ovens and warmed my jars that way, just so we help decrease the chances of getting cracked jars and all of those other adventures. So today I'm just going for, now I have 2 stock pots on my stove that I'm gonna keep water in and rotate jars through. And I think we're actually about ready here to get the canner going. I got my water in my 45 quart canner. I have my weight. I'm so proud of me, myself, and I for keeping a hold of all my canning weights these last couple years. Good job. When I first started canning, I just used the pressure gauge. And then as I've continued canning, I've gotten the weights to do the weighted canner feature. And I am just using the directions on the National Center for Food Preservation site, and I will link those down below, about canning chicken broth. And so the fat has been skimmed, the jars are getting heated through. I will probably do a teaspoon of salt in each jar, and we will just go from there. Oh, I remembered to put my vinegar in my big canner so I don't get the white film on my jars. At least it'll make for prettier jars. And while we're getting things heated up, we're gonna go down to the dark now, but don't worry, I'm still here. We're gonna go down to the basement and do something real quick. So I threw on a teenager's shoes, so because my concrete floor down here just is what it is. We don't want to carry this mess on our socks all day. So several adventures going on down here, but one of the things going on in my massive food preservation, large family mom, feeding lots of people matrix universe is one of my freezers went. This was my fruit and veggie freezer, and yeah, it's just a mess. So, whew, okay, mostly cleaned out, needs to get another layer. I didn't really lose anything though. I was able to catch it. People ask me how I stay on top of my freezers and stuff, and really most days I'm down here checking in on things and bringing up food that I need and defrosting it and those kind of things. So reality though is this freezer, it's doing well right now, but it's been a little funny for me also. Like one day I came down here and it wasn't working, and that wasn't great, but then a few hours later it came back on and it was working. So this is just freezer life drama. One day maybe I'll have a freezer room, I don't know. But I have 5 freezers down here. 2 of them, these 2 over here, these 2 we got, these were like my first ever brand new freezers. We got these at the Forest House probably 2016, 2017. Before that, at my farmhouse, what did I have? I had the top of this was my extra refrigerator. This is also the refrigerator from my first house, so it's like 25 years old now. I had the top of this freezer plus another freezer about this size in my kitchen, and then I had a freezer probably a third of this size that I got at my neighbor's yard sale. And those 2 half freezers and then 1 freezer a third of this size is what I rotated through for years and years and years. Forest House, develop my freezer cooking guides and do freezer meals on a bigger scale, so feeding my family and also dealing with components of recipe development. And also I started doing things like buying full cows, buying a whole hog. I quickly needed 2 freezers. Then when we moved to this house in 2020 and I actually had some of this room, I didn't know I was going to have like a food storage room and have this dedicated corner. You know, this was the refrigerator that was upstairs in the kitchen with me. One of those refrigerators came with the house, yada, yada, yada. So anyway, also in 2022-ish was it, whenever I got my Harvest Right freeze dryer and lived in a different fantasy universe, of course. I got that freezer to be my project freezer to swing different food I was putting through the freeze dryer and garden harvest and all these things. And then back over here, so that's the freezer meal freezer, the fruit and veggie freezer, then back behind me a beef freezer and a chicken and pork freezer. It's very easy in feeding almost a dozen or more people every day to collect freezers and refrigerators. All that to say, I don't know, as I've mentioned, all of my ventures coming up in 2025. I keep thinking, I think I'm moving eventually. So all that to say, I don't know. I don't know my setup. I have questions. Hello, life. I do have some friends who have offered, if I have like, you know, a Lowe's freezer delivered, Lowe's can't get back into my yard in this weather to switch this out, but I have some folks who've offered to come to get this out and to help get my new one in. all of that is great and well and good. So then over here though, I'm working on what can I do with the freezer space I have, because I do have a lot of good freezer space and I have a lot of things in here that we could be working through. So now new projects are coming up. I have probably 3 bags of, I believe what we're looking at here is 1, 2, 3 bags of beef fat, so we can render down to do tallow. And I believe we'll pull these out in a second. Just trying to tell you what we're doing. I believe I have 2 or 3 big packs of pork fat also to do lard. And then of course we still have several bags of chicken feet, which we have started to work through these, which is why we're canning all that chicken broth today. And then I have several bags of beef bones. So whether I stay, whether I go, wherever I live, we can move the home canned foods. No matter what, I need to start working through these projects to get them quickly available for my family and I to use, yes, and to free up freezer space, because I have other cooking projects and other things that we're doing. I still need my freezer space. Even though I'm down a freezer, I still have to work those details out. But in the meantime, like all of life, what can I do? So let's see, I think this is some more pork fat. And I've probably had this pork fat in here 2 years. So it's time to do the pork fat. Here we go, some apple butter from summer 2024. All that to say, I've been talking to Jessica from Three Rivers Homestead, who I saw her rendering down her beef fat. And so we've been discussing that. I've been collecting tallow probably the last 6 months or so. As I've done grass-fed roast and steaks and such, I have poured that in a jar and used it as a cooking fat. Just really easy way to grab it, because I'm like, that is good fat from a grass-fed piece of meat, and then I use that later when I'm doing other cooking. And so that, in the past 6 months, I've been doing more tallow anyway. And hey, look, I have all this fat to do tallow with. So I've messaged Jessica several times these last couple days as we've been talking out how I can go about rendering down this, and I'm going to use my roaster ovens, and we're going to keep an eye on it, and I'm going to put it in jars, and it'll have about a year shelf life, which is fantastic. And if I end up, I mean, again, I feed a lot of people and I do a lot of cooking, so I don't know, if I ended up with 24 quarts of tallow, how long would that last? But just knowing who I am, I will also take some of my tallow and some of my lard, and I can think of 2 other families already that they would love some home rendered cooking fat. So we're going to begin this process. Oh, that's what, with Jessica, I asked her, hold on here, let's just see if I can have this conversation. Whew, yeah, see, that's 29 pounds of beef fat. Anyway, I've asked Jessica, do I defrost this first? It makes sense with me alone in my kitchen. I probably need to defrost this, and then we will chunk it up and put it in the roaster ovens coming up. So today, we're going to take this out of the freezer, put it in the refrigerator, and I will get back to that once I'm done canning this broth. Okay, so this is 100 pounds of soon-to-be tallow of beef fat. That's just going to sit in this fridge a few days and like it. Okay, so this is probably only like 20 pounds of lard here. That's going to defrost in this fridge. And then I added another like 12-pound pack of fat. So this is about 115 pounds of beef fat. So this is going to be the heavy processing, and then about 20 pounds or so of lard. And we'll see how many quarts we get from that. And so then here's what is in this fridge. Now, some of these chicken products I can probably move back to my chicken freezer now. It's just when that freezer went, you know, we had to squirrel some more things around. So this freezer, you know, we've been eating down those farm-raised chickens. I mean, we've got room in here. So this is great because, again, I'm making room for freezer meals and other projects and food processing coming up. So let's get those chicken products back in here where they belong. Okay, so maybe we are a little closer to 150 pounds of beef fat because I just checked here in my beef freezer and there's a whole other big pile of fat down there. So I'm gonna pull this out. Okay, so Tetris with the beef freezer, but I was able to move some things around. Again, this is why we're going into a heavy, massive food preservation processing time. Those bags of bones, there are some other beef cuts and stew meat and such behind them, but upcoming projects, we need to get all of those down into beef bone broth, get it processed, get it canned, get it out of the freezer. I'm pretty much out of steaks. We do have roast. We do have more cuts that can be used for broth too. And hey, there's some filet mignon, and then we also have other roast cuts. So even the roast and the beef stew tips, those can be canned and then they're ready to go. I do have some large briskets up there, and then of course a lot of ground beef, and I love having canned ground beef ready to go also. You know, we did that in 2023. I think I used a ton of that over the next 12 to 18 months, and it's a way to get it out of the freezer, free up freezer space, and have it ready to go for meals. So again, we had to squirrel around when I lost a freezer and get stuff moved around. And then in here now, we only have 7 farm-raised chickens. So remember, I bought a bundle of, what was it, 25 or so farm-raised chickens in August. By November, I got another bundle because these have been my Whole Foods freezer meals ready to go. I have done so many 2 chickens in my red goose pot on top of sweet potatoes, golden potatoes, carrots, what have you, whatever kind of root vegetable. We've been doing that at least twice a week for probably 4 months now. So down to 7 chickens. Again, in the future, I want these to be my own chickens that I've raised in my yard again at some point in life, but very thankful I can go and get bundles of chickens for now. We also have about 5 bags of chicken feet left. I have some ham bones that we need to do some things with too. Yeah, just some little odds and ends in here. Besides that, I've got some ground turkey I got on sale, and running lower on the lunch meat. We just got a couple packs of turkey in here. A couple things of lunch meat back there. I haven't been to Sharp Shopper in a while. And some various fish cuts down there, which I have teens that like fish and they will pull them up and do them on a sheet pan. So that's fantastic too. But that's what's going on in here. So again, we're gonna gain freezer space by using up what is in these freezers and finding it that way. Those are still some peppers, organic peppers that I helped my friend harvest. What was that? I think that was summer 2022. So I have 5 bags left of those. Still have like some apple scraps and some frozen grapes. We've worked through some of these, so I need to use those up. Again, this is just some freezer fruit bread that we still have left and some apple butter. So anyway, we got this freezer back now. And so yes, this was another almost 26 pounds of beef fat that we need to, I'll probably turn some of these on their side. So again, I think, well, all of those, that's 100 and then 12, yeah, so over 130 pounds of beef fat. And we need to get back upstairs to today's canning, but and if I hear anything different from Jessica, I mean, we could always put these back in the freezer, but I think I should defrost these and then chop them up. And the fact that they're frozen and they're touching, you know, it's going to take a couple days. Whew. And my little shelf does not like this, but anyway, hold it together here, refrigerator. So my 25-year-old refrigerator is still earning its keep. Alrighty, so I think we're all ready to go. These jars are heated up. This broth has been cooked through. This canner, the water in there is hot. I've got a little bit, I'm gonna do a teaspoon of salt in each quart. Your mileage may vary, you may want no salt. Doesn't matter, any way you wanna do it, salt, no salt. I do need to wipe my little rings there with vinegar. So just trying to set up our assembly line as pretty good as we can. It will be a little juggle. You'll see me juggling my hot jars and all of that. Got my funnel out, got my lids and rings ready, jar lifter, little canning spoon there. So let's have at it. I'm trying to remember with that 45 quart canner, I believe it holds somewhere between maybe 17, 18, I think maybe even 19 quarts. There's 2 levels in it. There's a rack at the bottom, and then there's another rack in the middle. I know the light's messing with us here, but it's been a while since I've used that, so let's get going with it. I feel like this is such a monumental moment. We started cooking this chicken broth earlier in the week, pulled the bones, got it in the refrigerator, let it sit for a few days. It just wasn't, if it would have been ready on that first day that I checked the fat, which that was probably 8 to 10 hours after I had put it in the refrigerator the evening before. So it's, again, your mileage may vary, your refrigerator setup will be different and potentially, or all of that. So you probably won't be attempting to process, I don't know, 50 quarts of chicken broth at one time, or maybe you do 600 quarts of chicken broth at a time. But anyway it goes, this is how it is working out, and we finally got here. I did go out of state to help some friends with a big project on Thursday of this week, and then Friday my energy was just really tanked and I let myself rest. And so now on this Saturday it has all come back together. See, the prep work from earlier in the week, we'll say Monday, finally getting to the end of it here on Saturday, and I'm proud of us. I just cannot say that enough. So the 45 quart canner holds about 18 quart jars, and so we are going to get it loaded up. I'm just going through my little assembly line here. All right, so memory lane. So I've got 9 jars on the bottom of this canner. I'm going to, let's see, we'll do this together. Put our rack in and get our jars on the top. There we go. And do another layer. It's so nice how things come back together. I got this canner, this particular one, I believe in 2022, and we have done some big, massive Mega Mama projects with it. I'm glad to get it going for 2025. I like this canning setup, this little workflow action we got going on. It's working. Canner's still got about 1/3 of the way to go to get loaded. But I think let's just carry the red pot over here, and I'm just going to pour this broth into that pot to a certain point. Get some things out to help make that possible. Instead of, because you know, other times I've been canning, I jar things up over here and then walk it. So I think this will be good. Let's just see. So I'm just gonna use my measuring cup. What'll it be? 8 to 10 times. Had a kiddo with a question, just answered that. Yeah, this is just easy for me to handle. I do have sons available to move big pots and things for me, but again, like, that just worked really well. Just work through that. I do have my timer set. I like to see how long things take me. So it took me 15 minutes to get as far as I did. So maybe we're about a little under 1 minute per jar. And so I'm thinking it's going to take me 30 to 40 minutes before I've got the canner with the lid on it total. That's okay. Nice to have this done. Nice to use up those chicken carcasses and those bundles of chicken feet that I did. I was also thinking about dinner tonight, and so that's a thing. Some freezer meal components are prepped, as in we have spaghetti sauce and we have chili, and I think we have some sloppy joes in the freezer. The obviously sloppy joe mix. I don't have any buns right now though, so continuing to use up that second load of farm-raised chickens that we bought. I think I'll just do my classic 2 chickens in a pot tonight, and that'll be dinner. And that's something that's wholesome, nutritious, filling. Everyone loves it. Then you get chicken carcasses out of it to do more broth. All things that make my heart happy. So I'll probably just unplug these 2. Okay. I'm going to put the lid on this, and if I start to carry this, and you know I throw this thing around with chickens in it, if I need someone stronger, I will get one of those, folks. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to move that on my own, so I'm going to get some reinforcements. Alrighty, so I got that moved, and that was super helpful. Just takes some more upper arm strength than I have, because it is about 16 quarts and loaded with our broth. So Mama couldn't quite do that, but that is okay. We are just going to continue on here. After this coming up, I'm gonna have to set up a whole canning station on the island, but we're not going to focus on that yet. I am filling my jars here. I fill it with the broth, and sometimes I add the teaspoon of salt before, sometimes after, sometimes I totally forget. But there it is, full of broth, and then I wipe the rim with some vinegar. That helps remove any particles as far as sealing. And then I get my lid and my ring on, and then I use my jar lifter because the canner is hot and the jar gets hot and all of that. Keeping my jars hot or really warm in other stock pots full of water worked really well for this canning time, and I did not lose 1 jar, so that's very nice. That just means that everything heated appropriately and didn't have too rapidly change in temperature fluctuations where it could make the glass crack. So that a nice success. Sometimes you can have a very small imperfection on the jar and do everything right and just miss it. And that's okay. And on my phone there, I'm watching through, multitasking Mama, watching through another video I need to do voiceover for. So always trying to get my Mama work done, that's for sure. And I love that big canning spoon. I ordered that pretty sure I ordered that on Amazon. It's either that or my local hardware store. I'm sure you can find one on Amazon though, and I'll link it for you if I'm able to. And if I forget, just go on Amazon and search for a canning spoon, and I'll use that even as a serving spoon. But it is very nice to ladle these liquids into the jars and such. It seems like it's at least a good cup capacity. I bet it is close to a cup there. Instead of doing, we'll say 10 little scoops with a little spoon, we can just do 3 or 4. So there we go. There's 1, and there's 2, 3, 4. Yep, just about it. There you go. So that we measured that, the volume of that spoon. That probably is about a cup. And now we did it. We got the whole canner loaded. It is so beautiful. And now I'm going to get my lid on. And in order to seal those wing nuts, I go back and forth in, I don't know if it's called cross threading or whatever, but I do a wing nut on one side and then go to the opposite side and tighten it down all the way around. Those directions came with the All-American canner. the 45 quart one that I have. Alrighty, so I feel like saying it's alive, but we've got the jars in there. I tightened everything correctly. We've got, I didn't do the final count on that top rack, but I believe it was 9 as well. So we have 18 quarts. I need to get my next load of jars. There's 4 in there, and then I had 2 sitting over here that I put in there. I need to get more jars in there getting heated through. This will need to vent for 10 minutes, so we're gonna get that going. After it does 10 minutes of continual steam, I'll put on my weight, which again is here in my envelope, and I checked my elevation again. I don't have it memorized, but I am over, I think I'm 1,040 or so. So based on the directions I have and all of those good things, I need 15 pounds of pressure for 25 minutes for my elevation and all of those good things. And also because I'm using the weighted gauge, I'm not going off this pressure gauge. So there you go, we're doing it. Now we'll get some more jars heating up in the pots. Alrighty, so I'm gonna set my timer for 10 minutes because I feel the steam venting. Progress. And I also now, I just use this goose pot for everything. So many little things. I need to start cooking dinner for tonight. I'm gonna need the goose pot for that. So I might have to, well, deal with it, right? Okay. So I'm not 100% sure how I'm dealing with it, but I know I had to get my rack out of my oven and get my oven heated up. And then I just decide to dump the little bit of broth that was left in the goose pot back into the roaster. And I'm getting that pot rinsed out, not like a hot soapy rinse or anything, because it's just got chicken broth in there, and hey, we're doing chicken. But I do rinse out some bags of radishes, and I put those as my vegetable on the bottom, and then I'm going to put 2 chickens on top, put some avocado oil and some Redmond salt on top of them, and there you go, dinner's almost done. I also got to the point where I put the weight on my canner. It had vented for 10 minutes. And hey, real life mama, if you hear rain in the background and you're starting to fall asleep with the rain sounds, that's because how do I get voiceover done? I hide in my car. If it's raining, we gotta have voiceover with rain. And now look at this. And also, into every life, a little sourdough discard must fall, but at least the jar didn't break. We've been getting ready in layers around here. Got my hair blow dried. Got the first 19 quarts of chicken broth done, and now the pressure has stopped. And looking at my time, well, I should be able to get another canner load going, but I believe that means that that'll probably be it for today. It takes a bit to get the jars ready, then get it jiggling, get the timer done. This has probably been 2 hours or so. I'm hopeful that now things will go pretty well. I mean, they've been going well. It's hi. Left on this timer for my chicken. Woo! I don't know why that has scared me. Anyway, let's unload this. I hear lids popping already. I like to use these boards to put sand jars on. Quit hissing at me now. Okay. And someone has something in the air fryer too. We have multiple things that happen. Let's see, I won't be able to have this board touch this canner when it heats up. That into the hook part. beautiful. Looking like some nice, beautiful broth. And a beautiful 18-quart canner load without losing a single jar. I tell ya, super exciting. Just makes me feel like progress forward. You know, I do these kitchen projects because it's who I am and it brings me joy. I love feeding my family. I love doing kitchen projects. It's who I am and I'm not changing. All of our jars made it. So that's wonderful. And we did can beef broth a few months ago. I believe I might have just used my Presto canners for that, huh? I don't recall. But not on today's canning day. But as we work through the chicken carcasses, the beef bones, the scraps that I have to make broth out of, we will end up with a year's worth of broth. When I really get on a roll, I go through quarts and quarts of broth at a time. So that'll be good. I mean, even if I made a year and a half of large family broth for all my cooking projects, I mean, that would be great. But this one time, if we end up somewhere between, I'm thinking we're gonna come in around 50 quarts. That's not a year's worth. That's, well, could be 3 months worth or so, depending on what I'm doing. Very nice. As I like to say, hey, look at us, we're doing it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get, yeah, we'll have to change our assembly line a little bit because my pot is in use. So I will just move some things around here. So yes, even though it's not the same workflow I had, that's okay, ladies, right? No problem. We will just figure out another workflow and get the thing done. I need 2 goose pots now, right? Really, that one, I use it pretty much every day. Run jars, fill, there, salt. Okay, getting to it. Okay, if I can remember to put my salt in first. I know on that first load I missed some getting it with salt. And so that'll just get down to taste when I cook with it. And funnel. Here, I'd like to leave it an hour. I can push it an hour and a half. So we should be able to get another load going. And big sigh, it's like so many things. I felt like I had all this time on this particular day and was just canning in my pajamas and no pressure, just keep moving forward. And I still end up jammed up for time at the end. But you know what? I'm not too late for line dancing. I think I might have been 10 minutes late. It's okay. I still did it. I made it there. And line dancing is fun. It is so many ages. Now, I have had some of my particular household folks go before, but really it's just more of a mama thing. I always invite and they're like, yeah, no, we don't think so. And that's okay. But there are families that come with their kids of all ages. There's people probably in their 80s that go. And then because we're in a college community, there's a lot of college students. All the generations are represented in our Shenandoah Valley line dancing. Time to check my chicken. The skin is golden. We'll see what the internal temperature tells us. I think they're going to need maybe 20 more minutes or so. It's 180. This one side needs a little longer. It's not. I was hitting a pocket there that's, yeah, like 162. Okay, that's fine. It's mostly done. 3/4 of the way done, a little bit more than that actually, but I'm gonna put it back in for about 20 more minutes. Plus, I like that skin nice and golden. Getting there. So my goal was to be able to take the chicken pot out of the oven before I left. Now, I have had times if I've had to scooch where I have an adult that's home or an older teen get that big pot out and help serve it, so that is helpful. And yep, just making sure I have the correct headspace there, pouring out a little bit if I need to, and then wiping off my rim and the lid and the ring, and then marching it on over into the big canner and getting another jar going. Those are fake out boot socks. If you look at my boots there, what looks like the sock toppers, those are just little toppers that go on. I may have boot socks on, but they're not quite that thick. Let's talk about the socks, okay? So I don't forget, I took the innards, the pot out of my other roaster, set it there for my fish folks this evening to get that washed. This will probably need again though, and we're doing it. We're gonna keep on going with this batch. Almost have the bottom of the canner full. This is our last roaster can. I wonder if this will be it. If that was 2 batches, that would be 36, and that could be with evaporation and what have you. I was hoping for 50, but I will also take 36. That would work out nice timing wise for me. Then tomorrow I could move on to my next project, or maybe I could do both. We have church and things, but I should be able to get my canner going and finish up if I had a few more jars to do. Let's see here. Workflow, pick up the jars. Okay, I've been using mostly wide mouth. They also have regular mouth, and I put some regular mouth because they were the next jar lids I grabbed. In the pots too, so we'll probably work in some of those. Perfect world, wide mouths for just about everything, but gotta use what you have. Top layer, here we come. And I'm not too hot in this kitchen, but I'm wearing a summer jean dress, ha. But it is hot at line dancing also. We meet at a school gym and it doesn't take long for that whole thing to heat up. So I had just planned I try to remember to wear short sleeves. I regret it when I don't. And I could wear a winter jacket in and take that off. But everyone who comes into the kitchen is like, man, it's hot in here. So, you know, what do they say? You pay for the heat once, I'll open the door, and it's heat I've already paid for. It'll go through the rest of the house. This gas stove has worked out well. I have it on a fill-up with my local gas company, and it has a cellular meter that's on it, and I don't know how often they fill it, honestly, but when it gets to a certain level, they'll fill it and take the money from my account, and it has all been okay. And I guess I should look into how much gas I use in a year, but it's one smallish tank, and it's only for this stove. And it was nice. Our power went out, I don't know, maybe only for 2 hours the other week, but it was during breakfast time, and oh no, how do we cook on the stove? So everyone had a lesson in you can still cook on gas when the power's out. So that was very nice. Checking my chicken timer there. Got about 4 minutes left. And that chicken should be perfect, and I cannot wait to eat the skin. With the past 2 weeks, we had probably 2 weeks of sickness. Whatever sickness it was, my kids slowly went down for a week each, and then as they were coming out of it, I went down for my turn, for my week. And then this past week, we've had just really cold, 6 degrees, 1 degree, negative 2 degrees, you know, all of that. So basically, I haven't run in 2 weeks, which happens a little bit in the winter. I just figured I move my body so much, and I walk and I run and I hike and do all those things so often, it's not going to hurt me to have a 2-week dip and then come back out of it. And also with birthdays and Christmas and holidays and sickness and those things, I haven't been to line dancing in about a month. So I just thought, well, that's great. I'll get back to line dancing now, because even the private lessons I take, she was snowed in this last week. I was sick the week before that. You know, I've just been, things have been off for a few weeks. Although I feel great, so that's good. But anyway, I will line dance tonight. Yay. I've been doing that for a good year and a half or so. It's been very therapeutic for me. My therapist says I must line dance forever. Okay, it's been very good. Gonna get back to that, and then I thought Monday I would start back to my running 4 times a week routine and go from there. Like I say, this past week I just kind of said, oh, we just started the new year over again this week. We got a full week of school with no sickness, or we had snow days and local schools were closed again. We didn't take those days off in our homeschool. There we go. Let's see. Oh, I need a little bit more. And the week before we were dealing with sickness. Schools were closed again because of snow. So we took those days off for sickness. So just how it kind of all worked out for us. Now we'll get into some regular mouth jars.
And I don't mind canning in regular mouth jars either. I mean, they're all jars, and I have lids for them, and I have rings, so it all works out just fine. Of course, the wide mouth jars are a luxury, you know, very nice for vegetables and meat and for a great many things, because the mouth is wider and you can get things out a little better. But it's okay. It's okay. I like to just have jars, right? That's what's very good. And I'm looking at my time. I'm canning my broth. I'm pacing myself. I'm hoping I have just enough time to finish this project out. And I'm still eyeballing a video that I'm watching through. That I like to watch through them, and then if I'm able the following day, if I don't have time the same day, to go through and do my voiceover. And so, look, I remember to put my salt in. We're doing pretty well here, doing well. And even though my life is wild and I have a lot of dynamics in my life that I wish were not my reality, as I was sharing with you earlier, I continue to do cooking projects because I enjoy doing them. Now, obviously, when I can't, when too many unexpected things come up, or when my body just says, yeah, we're not, no shame in my great value pizza game. But when I can, I find a lot of joy in being able to putter in my kitchen. You know, I have been a several decades kitchen putterer, and even back when I used to have a $250 grocery budget for up to a family of 7, I was always looking through, seeing what I had to work with and making the best of it. And then just the joy of having maybe another $50 3 weeks into that once a month grocery shopping budget, and being able to get some more milk and get some oranges and add in a few more staples just to get us through the next 7 to 10 days before I could do my quote big shopping with my $250 and eventually then $300 to $350 or so a month grocery budget and expand from there. Now, I know grocery budgets have majorly changed over the last decade or two. And I'm sure these days, what is a $600 grocery budget would be like me 15, 20 years ago having $300 a month. And so we definitely have to stretch and make the best with what we have to work with. And so I feel like for me, even going through and doing food projects with the food I have, I mean, this is food that we will use futuristically in the spring of 2025, late 2025, maybe even into 2026. Not this broth, though. I think this broth, again, is probably going to be 12 to 16 weeks around here, but it's just a nice, well, first off, nice project that Mama enjoys, so that's very helpful. And also, hey, I won't have to buy so much great value broth if I have my own home canned broth on my shelves. And when I need great value broth, though, it will do it just fine. So that's what I say, total grace. I'm just moving forward and doing the best I can. I know that you are doing the best you can too. So when you can boil down your chicken carcasses, go for it. And when you can't, it's okay.
I got all my loud fans going, but this is all that's left. And so I think I'm just gonna put this in my either a quart jar or one of my little bit larger, how many? 2-quart jar. I think I'm just gonna put this in the refrigerator and see if I drink it over the next 2 or 3 days instead of canning it, because I don't want to run the canner just for a couple quarts. Let's see how much we have here. This is all set up. If you can hear me through the wind tunnel, this is set up and going at it again. I'm waiting for that to start venting, and then I'll set a 10-minute timer. And while I'm at it, I need to get our chicken pot out. So just put that way. Put this straight in. All right, so here's how the chicken pot turned out tonight. It just has radishes and olive oil at the bottom. On the top, I did some Redmond salt. Just super simple. Everybody loves the chicken skins too. And then of course we will use these carcasses for more upcoming chicken broth.
So this is how everything is looking, and I am inspired. Like, what I'm thinking about now is, man, I need to order another bundle of chickens. So I know I have one local source where I can order chicken bundles from, and I just like to see what my local farms have to offer. Also, as far as like driving distance to pick it up and such, you know, one farm I get chicken and I've gotten full cows from and everything. It's about 45 minutes each way. Another farm I want to look into is about 20 minutes each way. And it's a direction that if I can coordinate it, I do find myself going a couple times a week. So stay tuned for next chicken bundle purchase. Of course, I would love to get back to raising my own meat birds and doing home butchering again. And I think even though my life dynamics are different, I mean, in the past, it was always me and my folks who look like me, you know, my teens, sometimes my younger kids, sometimes a friend or two that would come over and help me. So even now as a single lady and a mom with 57 children, I definitely think we can still, I mean, and it was me and my kids who cared for our chickens. So yes, I'm an independent woman and I can raise my own chickens and butcher them yet again in the future. But as I've mentioned, 2025 is still a tightrope year in many ways. And I don't think I'm going to be raising meat birds again this year, but I have done it in the past. We have been successful in the past. And so I hope that that is in my future again. I don't even know if getting an egg-laying flock going in 2025 is going to happen, or even any gardening. And the reason is, as I've shared with you already some, is I don't know if I'm moving or not. And I just say that because that's reality, you know? And if I move, again, it's the smallest thing I've been through, or I've had to juggle, or I've had to come to terms with. It'll be okay. We'll just do the whole thing again, won't we? And we'll have, I think I've had, 3, 4 YouTube kitchens. I'll just have another, you know? I think I've purchased 4 houses in my adult life. I guess it'll just be a 5th, right? Hey, I'm nearing 50, so we've got to have our numbers match. Maybe. So anyway, just making the jokes when I can. So there's some sourdough discard too for other sourdough adventures. But anyway, that's who I am in my heart though. You know, I ask myself things like, well, I mean, this homesteading thing, am I just following trends? This sourdough and homegrown chickens and canning, like, am I just copying the whole world? And I'm like, no, wait. Now, I was canning my peaches back in my farmhouse with my couple $100 a month grocery budget when I could get half a bushel of peaches or whatever. I was doing that 15, 17 years ago. I was raising flocks of chicken and butchering them. I butchered my first chickens barefoot and pregnant when I was pregnant with my now 14-year-old teen son. That was my first chicken butchering experiences. I butchered some mean roosters that I just could not rehome. And they were attacking my kids and my hens. So this is who I am. And it's important to always connect with who we are and be true to ourselves and our own inspiration and our own things that just light us up. Even if I'm canning chicken broth with a chicken carcass in an apartment with 57 children, I mean, we're still doing the thing and I'm still being true to who I am. Alrighty, going for our second round. I'm gonna go pull the rest of my head together here. 5, 15, there it is. Okay, so now the 25 minutes will start once it officially starts jiggling. So that's what we wait for now. Well, good morning. Hey, look, I meal prepped. All right, so Sunday, and I will need food. I will need to either go out for pizza, which, hello, $100 if we go to the cheap pizza buffet, or let's see, Great Value Pizza, which you know is a lifesaver, or Mom Cooks. So let's prep and cook something. I'm a little tired because I was up late with that canner. Before I went to my little fun line dancing mama thing, I could not get that canner to come up to pressure. So finally I just turned the heat off. I went to line dancing. I got home, I probably was gone 3 hours or so. And again, there's always the chance for flat sour, and I'm not recommending that you turn your canner off and go for 3 hours, but that's life in Mama's kitchen. And Mama also getting her good mental health activities in. Anyway, came home about 10:30. I got things going again, and it was probably 12:30. Because you know, a canner load, it's not, 25 minutes and it's done. There is time involved and things you got to babysit and all that. The whole point is we did it. I'm going to show you. We've now got 38 canned jars of our homemade chicken broth from the farm. I mean, my goodness. So
for lunch today, so we got, hey look, sourdough, right? I've got a 3.55 pound beef chuck roast from the farm. I don't know that I'm gonna put a bottle of Italian dressing on it. I'm gonna put something on this roast. We've got some sweet peas, and then this is probably 5 pounds of potatoes. So we'll do our roasted potatoes in the oven. We'll roll them in olive oil. That's my phone alarm going off, but that's okay. We're gonna slowly get going and get to church this morning. Don't have all my lights on in here yet, but there's our chicken broth. Did it? I also, okay, so I have some brown rice, so we might end up doing that as well. Just, hey, it's Sunday. If I do a little more today, I'm going to be down 3 people. So that means I'm only prepping lunch for 7 today. Hey, almost nobody, right? But lunch could turn into leftovers for dinner, to maybe some things for tomorrow. And if I did rice, that could be an option over a couple days. So I do have some Primal Kitchen Greek dressing and marinade in avocado oil. So I think we will do that for our roast. And yeah, thoughts, food, good things. Well, happy Sunday, friends. We made it through, and Mama made lunch. Hey, look, I meal prepped. We got 2 loaves of sourdough. I sliced that down, and we got that into the oven to heat through. We have our 3.55 grass-fed, farm-raised beef roast. It was a chuck roast. I just took a knife through it to make it a little easier, left it in its juices. Everyone can just get the hunk they want. We have 2 dozen deviled eggs. A couple of them have already been donated to me because I ate them while I made them, and I had one of my younger kids requested heavy paprika, so yay, yummy for eggs. The other night I wanted deviled eggs. We boiled up 2 dozen. I didn't get to them. I did do homemade popcorn and Skip-Bo instead, so we did something, right? So the eggs have sat in the fridge for 2 days. They are serving their purpose. We have some sweet peas, which is just butter and salt and pepper. And then we have 5 pounds of roasted potatoes. Chopped those up, rolled them in some olive oil. You've seen me do it a bunch. And so here is our lunch, but we will also have leftovers for dinner. I have some rice in the slow cooker where I used 2 quarts of the chicken broth that we didn't can. That went in the freezer. That went into the rice and a little extra water. So we got 2 pounds of brown rice I put in the slow cooker when I got home from church, so about an hour ago. So that is prepping. Hey, look, we meal prep. That's gonna be for dinner. There will be some of these leftovers. We do have a little bit of chicken left from last night too, but not enough for a whole meal for everyone. So for dinner, there will be whatever's left of this, maybe some beef, probably a little beef roast, a little chicken, a little bit of everything. Hey, it's dinner. Here's the rice in this slow cooker. It was 2 pounds of washed brown rice. So we'll watch that turn into rice, or cook as rice. Well, friends, we did it. We not only made it through a full week, I cooked dinners this week. I didn't get any great value pizza, which again, if it's needed, it is okay. There is a great value pizza, is totally fine for dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever you need it for. But I didn't need that this week. I made home cooked meals. We canned 38 quarts of chicken broth. We set out over 150 pounds of animal fat because that lard looks like it's somewhere between 20 to 30 pounds, and we have over 130 pounds of the beef fat. Roaster ovens are still out in full force because whole new week that's coming up, we're rendering down beef fat and lard. And I'm gonna at least read a little bit about doing the tallow lotion. Link below, whatever information you have for me. I'm sure it's a Google search away. I'm not promising that I'm doing it, but I'm just saying I know that that's an option. If I end up with 50 quarts of farm-raised beef tallow for my family and enough to share some with neighbors and friends, that's also great. Just saying, there's possibilities. And I'm excited about these possibilities. So that's all amazing. Rice is going in the slow cooker. Leftovers from lunch. They tore up about half those deviled eggs, about half the potatoes, about a third of the peas, and there's probably a third of the beef roast left. So we're meal prepping, we're doing things. Will I go down emotionally, in a week or two and not be able to move for a few days? It could happen. It could totally happen. But we're doing what we can when we can. I am proud of us. Take that. 2025, whatever year you are. I may have had to restart the new year on like January 18th, but we're doing the thing. So thank you so much for spending this week with me where we did some massive food preservation yet again. Yes, we did. And we home cooked some meals. And we did some things. Brand new week, brand new food projects are coming. And I'll see you real soon with another brand new video. Bye-bye.